Hi everyone, hope you all doing well. Welcome back to our channel. In this video, I am going to talk about controlled folder access and how you can enable it from Windows Security Application and PowerShell. Now, if you're watching the series from the beginning, in the last video, we have discussed about what is controlled folder access, how exactly it works. Whereas in this video, we are going to talk about all the prerequisites that you need to know. What are the components or settings required for controlled folder access to work? Then we'll talk about the testing that you have to do with the help of a CFA tool officially available by Microsoft. And then we'll talk about how to check event logs on the machine as well as check controlled folder access events on Security Portal. Now, when it comes to supported platform, as of now, this capability is only available for Windows as a platform. And in this video, we are going to check all the details related to Windows Security Application and PowerShell. Now, for Windows Server 2012 R2 and Windows Server 2016, this setting cannot be enabled from Windows Security Application because in 2012, there is no user interface. And in 2016, there is practically no option to enable this from interface. So it's for both the versions, practically you cannot enable it from Windows Security Application. So this is something which is officially documented as well by Microsoft, and that is on Windows Server 2012 R2, there is no user interface. However, in 2016, it only allows basic operations. Okay. But when it comes to PowerShell, you can use the command on any version of Windows Server. Now let's talk about prerequisite. The very first prerequisite is Defender AV must be running. Machine must be onboarded to MDE so that you can track all the activities on the console of security.microsoft.com. Make sure you have onboarded the machine if you want to see data on Security Portal. Otherwise, you can go ahead and check data on Event Viewer as well. The next one is real-time protection must be enabled. And the fourth one is very common, and that is your machine should have all the security updates installed by default. Now let's begin by understanding how we can enable this feature with the help of Windows Security Application. Now, the first thing that you have to keep in mind that in order to enable this feature directly from the console, which is Windows Security Console, you have to be local admin on the machine. That means your account should have local admin privileges. And then in the Ransomware Protection section, you can simply enable this button and controlled folder access as a capability will be enabled. Now, whenever controlled folder access is enabled from the console, it is by default enabled in block mode. This is something which you have to keep in mind. Now, in the last video, I've clearly mentioned that there are two modes, audit and block. If you want to enable audit mode, then you have to use PowerShell because the moment you will select the option of controlled folder access from the console, again, it is enabled by default in block mode. Now, whenever there is a configuration change that's happening for any of the capability related to Windows Defender, there is an event which gets generated with the ID 5007 that will be located in Windows Defender folder itself. And this is a sample log which shows you which registry gets changed the moment you enable controlled folder access from the console. Let's go back to my machine where I will be showing you everything. Okay. So this is the folder where the logs will get generated. Now, I have opened Windows Security Console, but before I go ahead and enable this feature, one very quick thing that I would like to show you all, and that is this version of Windows 10 is 22H2. Okay, because if you'll read the official documentation, it says controlled folder access is supported for any version which is 1709 or above. So make sure you have the right version of Windows. Okay. Now, all the updates are applied on this particular machine as well as the Defender service and Sense service is running on the machine, which also means all the prerequisites are met. Okay. Now I'm going to the settings section on this machine. And then I'm going to click on Open Windows Security under Windows Security section. And now I'm going to click on this option which says Virus and Threat Protection. And then I'm going to click on this option which says Manage Ransomware Protection. And as of now, you can see that controlled folder access is disabled. Okay. So now let's say if I go ahead and run this command, which is get-mp preference, and if I'll go ahead and check the current state, it is showing value 0. Now there are only 3 values possible, 0, 1, 2, wherein 2 means audit mode and 1 means block mode. So it is exceptionally simple and it is exceptionally relatable that the moment I'll switch on this, the value in the PowerShell will now be changed to 1. Okay. So let's say if I go back and see the same setting again, you can see it has been changed. Now let's see whether there is any event getting generated over here. And as you can see, Windows Defender 5007 and control folder access is enabled. Okay. So enabling control folder access from the console is exceptionally easy. All you have to do is you have to make sure all the prerequisites are met and you are local admin on the machine, right? Now I'm going to click on this next option which says protected folders, which means the list which is protected by default. These folders will be protected by default and you will not be able to change them. Now, what do I mean by this? That since this list is added by default, you will not be able to remove any of the folders from here. But then you can add your own locations here, which you will be able to customize. So let's say this is the one that I have added. If I want, I can remove. So any folder that you think has to be protected, let's say from malicious application, or let's say from ransomware attack, you can get them added here. And by default, as I've said before, this is the list which is protected. Here, username is the field that you can replace with your own profile name. And this is what it is. I mean, this is the list which is protected by default. Now, this is something which I've already shown, but again, it is very important. So I would like to highlight, you will be able to add new locations in the protected folder section. However, you cannot remove entries which are added by default. Now let's talk about how controlled folder access can be enabled or let's say disabled from PowerShell. Okay. Now there are 2 modes, block mode and audit mode. In order to enable controlled folder access in block mode, this is the command that you have to use, which says set-mp preferences, enable controlled folder access value 1, and value 2 can be used for audit mode. In audit mode, only the logs are created as well as access to protected folder is allowed, which is not the case in block mode. Now, likewise, we are managing entries of protected folders from the console. Similarly, you can add folders and trusted applications from PowerShell as well. And these are these 2 commands which can be used. Now, if I'll come back to my console, okay, and if I'll take a step back, there is one more option which says allow an app through controlled folder access. Now, if I'll click on this, I'll get 2 more options which says recently blocked app and browse all apps, which means that I can navigate to this particular section and I can add a respective app if I want to, or depending upon the applications, the untrusted applications which are blocked, I can click on this option and then from this particular list, I can just go ahead and allow them. Now, what does this mean? That if next time this particular tool tries to access this protected location, it will be allowed. So as I've said before, this section can help you add protected folders and this section can help you add trusted application. For this demo, I'm just going to quickly remove all of them so that I can showcase you all the use cases. Okay. So this is how you can enable control folder access either from PowerShell or from Windows Security Console. Now let's begin by understanding the most important part, and that is how controlled folder access is going to work. Now let's say if you already have some sample malicious files that you can use to check this behavior, nothing like it. But let's say if you don't have any sample file, then you can go ahead and download the CFA tool, which is available by default on Microsoft documentation. All you have to do is you have to go to this particular section of Microsoft Defender for Endpoint, which says evaluate capabilities. And then these are the two articles that you can read in terms of knowing how exactly this tool works, though I'm trying my best to explain you each and every component. And this is the particular section from where you can download the script. Once you have downloaded the tool, this is how it is going to look like, which I'm going to showcase you very soon. Okay. Now let's say you have downloaded the script. It will be a compressed folder. All you have to do is you have to extract this particular folder, and then there will be a script. Now this script has to be initiated with unrestricted privileges, wherein this script is going to create one more folder, which is cdemo. Okay. Now inside this particular folder, there will be two more folders like CFA test files, and this is a sample file. Now inside this folder, there will be again two more files. This one is the tool, the snip that I've shown you before. And this is the ransomware file. And the purpose of this file is to go ahead and encrypt this. But there are two more things, or let's say two more steps, which happen when you initiate this script. And those two steps are, this folder will be added as a protected folder. And this folder will also be added in AV exclusion. Okay. So let me show you this in action, and then things will make a lot more sense. So as of now, there is no folder named as demo. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to launch PowerShell with admin privileges. And let me just set the execution policy to unrestricted. And now I'll go to this particular location where I have saved the script. Okay. So I'll go to this folder. I'll copy this location. I'll navigate to this location, and then I'm going to run the script. Okay. Just give me a minute. This script is practically showing errors, right? If I'll scroll up, you can see I'm getting all this information. Now, this is the reason which I have, there is a reason, to be very precise, why I have taken this step deliberately. So I can make you guys read something which is officially documented by Microsoft. Okay. So for that, just go to this article of controlled folder access. And here what you will see that by default, scripting engines are not supported. Okay, which means what? Even though PowerShell is a Microsoft component, or let's say it is a Microsoft technology, still by default PowerShell is not trusted by controlled folder access. So this means what? As per your requirement, you have to allow PowerShell specifically on the machine on which you are doing testing, or let's say some of the machines that you use for some deep analysis in terms of knowing how things are working out. So if I go back to my machine now, then things will make a lot more sense. That what you see here, that all these actions were blocked because PowerShell has tried accessing, or let's say making change to something that belongs to controlled folder access, right? And let me show you that a specific thing, and then things will make a lot more sense. You see, these are a couple of settings, which is enabling controlled folder access and adding demo folder to Windows Defender exclusion list. Now, if I'll go to, let's say, Windows security, and I'll go to control folder access section, I can click on block history, and you can see I'm getting this latest block event here, which says PowerShell exe was trying to create something which is related to control folder access, and that is nominating a location as protected folder. So if I'll go ahead, I can just click on allow on device, and then this action will be allowed. Okay. Now let's say if I go ahead and run the same script again, let's see what we get. You see everything is working, correct? So if at all you get this alert, or let's say this event by any chance, there is nothing wrong with your machine. It's very simple. Your CFA control folder access was enabled in block mode. PowerShell is by default not trusted by controlled folder access. You can read it from here. So all you have to do is you have to go ahead and just allow this action for a while. Okay. Now let's see whether there is a folder or not. And as you can see, I can see this folder, which is demo. Okay. Now I'm going to open one more Explorer. These are two different things that I've already found, and I just wanted to show you guys so that, things will be slightly more relatable. Now, at this particular situation on this machine, controlled folder access, if I see here, is enabled in block mode. Okay. And let me just clear all the logs so that I can show you the exact things which I want you to know. Okay. So this is my folders. Okay. Now here I'm going to initiate this file. And if you recall what I've shown you in the deck, that the moment you have enabled this in audit mode, this file will be encrypted, but if it is in block mode, then this file should stay safe. Okay. So as of now, on this particular machine, control folder access is in block mode. The expected behavior is the moment I'll initiate this file should not get encrypted, or let's say the ransomware should not be able to make any change to this file, because this file, or let's say this folder, which is demo, is now also a protected folder, right? You can see demo is added as a protected folder. So let's go back to both the folders and let me initiate this. But that's not the case, right? Encrypted files in your... Ignore that noise that comes from this file which says I have encrypted your files. Okay. So you can see the ransomware was executed and there is no alert. And unfortunately, my file is also now encrypted. Now, the weird part is, in this case, there are no logs as well which are getting generated over here. Okay, which means what? Control folder access is not working as expected. Now, there is something wrong in the configuration itself. Now, I would not precisely say something wrong, but honestly speaking, I was not able to find why this is something which exists. Maybe there could be a reason that you can check how the behavior is all about. But when you initiate the script, okay, this script that we have downloaded, apart from adding protected folders, okay, this file, or let's say this folder location, is also added as an exclusion path in Windows Defender AV settings. Okay, which results in this file getting executed irrespective of the mode type. Okay, now the very first thing that we have to do is we have to remove this setting, or let's do something. Let me just clear everything and start everything from scratch after removing the preferences, and then things will make a lot more sense. So now I have removed the demo folder here. Okay. And I'm again going to initiate the script so that we should again have new data so that I can show you how things are working. Okay. Now I'll again go back to both the locations, which is C demo. Again, I have a sample test file, and here I'm again going to this particular folder from where I'm going to initiate ransomware. Okay. Now the expected behavior is, or let's say the behavior that I will showcase you is, when I will run this file, even though this file will get encrypted, but we will see some logs here because we are going to remove cdemo from exclusion. Okay. So I'm going to say remove -mp preferences exclusion path, and then go ahead and remove cdemo. Now set -mp preferences -enable controlled folder access and enable it in in audit mode. Okay. Now I have to close this and show you something more, and that is when you have enabled controlled folder access in audit mode, this section will still show you as if this capability is off, because there is no information coming over here which says what kind of mode is it, right? Or let's say currently which mode is enabled for controlled folder access. So if I'll go here and I'll show you the settings, which is enable controlled folder access coming as 2, and practically this should have been removed. Let's run this again. Exclusion path C demo get -mp preference. Okay, sorry. Remove -mp preference -exclusion path and then C demo. Yeah, now it will get excluded. Now I'll again say get -mp preferences, and now you can see it's not there. Okay, so exclusion path entry has been removed. Now, once I will run this ransomware file, this will be encrypted, but this time logs will be available here. Let me just clear it again. Okay, so that I should see the latest logs. I have cleared it again. I'm running this around 4:42. Let's see what happens. Okay, initiate this file. Okay, my machine is again affected by ransomware and the files are now encrypted. And I'll go back to event viewer. You can see new events are available, and here it will show me that this would have been blocked by modifying cdemo control folder access, which means what? This is something which should be blocked as per control folder access, but since it is an audit mode, you are getting 1124 event ID. If this would have been a block event, you will get 1123. Okay, so now the next thing that I'm going to showcase you is behavior in block mode. Let's say in this case, then what will happen? The moment this file will be initiated, this file should remain safe. So again, I'll pause the video and let me just clear the older files. Okay, so I've again deleted the demo folder, and I'll again go back to PowerShell and run the script again. So we can again have some fresh files to show you how exactly it is working. So I'll go to cdemo, demo again, and let's just change control folder access to block mode this time. Okay, let's just verify all the settings once again. Get -mp preferences. No. Okay, so this is coming again. We'll remove it, but control folder access is in block mode. Okay, I'll go ahead and remove this file again, or sorry, this location again. Perfect. Now it is not listed in excluded path. Now I'll go back to both the folders, and I'm again going to run this. This time the expected behavior is, even though this ransomware will be initiated, it will not be able to encrypt this file, and here we should get a toast notification that this particular action is blocked. Let's wait for 2-3 seconds. You can see it is coming here now. If I'll go here, I can check all the details. This particular ransomware was blocked because it was trying to access controlled folder, or let's say protected folder. So 3 behavior: The very first one is when cdemo is added in excluded path, everything will work. The ransomware will be able to encrypt the file and there will be no logs that will come here. Second use case of audit mode, logs will come in the event viewer, but the file, this particular file, will get protected. Third use case, it is working in block mode, no excluded path of cdemo, and you will get the appropriate behavior that should be there when control folder access is, or let's say, supposed to work in a certain way altogether. So these are three different use cases which you can try or which you can test. One more thing which is again very important and that I would like to highlight, and that is the script adds cdemo location and AV exclusion. Please make sure you remove demo folder from the exclusion list and then perform all the testing. If demo folder is added in AV exclusions, no events will be generated and no anomaly detection will be there, right? Which I basically mean that even though you initiate ransomware file, it will go ahead and encrypt, and without any information, you will not be able to track what exactly going wrong. Okay. So now the next thing, even though I have already covered this in a lot more detail, but just for your information, event ID 5007 for configuration change, 11234 for audit events, and 1124 for block events. And this is the location where you have to go. Now, in order to check logs on the portal, this is the advanced hunting query that you can use, which I can show you quickly on the portal itself. This is the query that you have to run, and it will start showing you all the events related to controlled folder access. Now, depending upon your KQL skills, go ahead and drill down this data as much as you want. The next place where you can find this information is device timeline. So let's say if I go ahead and click on device timeline for this particular device, which is Intune ASR client. As you can see, I'm getting all the entries listed over here. I mean, all the files that we tried accessing, making change, all the events are coming over here. Now, the last thing which is very important, and that is alerts are not generated for controlled folder access events, which basically means that you have to create a custom alert detection rule, which I have done in my case. And with the help of this rule, you can get alerts generated. By default, there is no as such rule that can help you create controlled folder access related, let's say, alerts. Okay. Let's talk about a quick summary of what all we have discussed in this video. We have discussed about prerequisites, components, all the testing that you can do, how to enable it. And we have also seen what are the logs that are generated on the machine as well as on security portal. In the next video, I'm going to talk about how you can enable control folder access from group policy. If you think that this channel is helping you to learn anything new, please feel free to subscribe and share this video with your technical community. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time.